Arsenal make it 2 wins from 2 at the beginning of the Premier League season. And tonight is one of those victories which it may not have been the most beautiful game to watch. It may not have been vintage Arsenal or the team performing to the optimum level that Arteta, the players themselves, and of course their fan base want. But they were 3 very hard points to gain. Arsenal were the better team, absolutely no doubt about it. They deserved their lead. They should have been, in my opinion, at least 2-0 up at halftime. Eddie Nketiah missing a good chance with his left foot when he ran through on goal, and then stupidly trying to chip the goalkeeper after a delightful ball that broke the lines by Declan Rice. He chips it over. Should have been 2-0 at that point. The second half begins. Crystal Palace fall asleep. Martinelli thinks quickly, plays that ball in, and bang, penalty given, 100% Stonewall penalty. No doubt about that whatsoever. And Captain Odegaard stands up and he puts it away. And then the game takes an interesting turn because Arsenal, this ain't weird. The one major criticism as a team I've got for them tonight is why were you time wasting from the 55th minute? That made no sense. Why start time wasting when you did? Tomiyasu ended up being the recipient of a yellow card for 8 seconds of time wasting. But he essentially was the unlucky party because it had been jotted up by 3 or 4 other players prior at goal kicks and then the throw-in. And he gets booked. And then the 12th man stepped in. Tomiyasu barely makes contact with Ayew. There's barely a tug. There's a touch on him, but he lets go straight away. Not enough to make a man fall down. 100% not. In real time, I thought, idiot, it's a yellow card. He's pulled his shirt. Then when you see the replay, 110% no shirt pull. Not enough for a booking. When you consider that Ayew had committed this, it was already booked and did it and dragged Saka to the ground 5 minutes earlier. 2 minutes later, Kai Havertz pulls the shirt of the same guy and doesn't get booked. That to me was 12th man action, home cooking. It was almost like the referees were on a mission to rob Arsenal of these 3 points tonight. Absolutely horrendous, in my opinion, from the referee. And I think that's why Arsenal, though, will take so much stock from this win. And I want to say this to Gooners now. You obviously will look at your team very differently to how a rival like me does. You want perfection. You want to feel completely comfortable when watching games. You want to be 3 or 4-0 up. Your opponent's having, they're not even jabbing you in the face, let alone landing a big punch or 2 on you. I understand what you want because that's how I feel about my club. But even watching as a rival, I sat here in my office, 7 minutes of added time. The 20 minutes prior to that, where Palace had all the ball, they were knocking it into the box, they were throwing it into the mixer. And Arsenal looked resolute and strong. Up until the red card, other than putting the ball in the back of the net, which interestingly wasn't an issue for you last year. And Eddie Nketiah has just been a bit wasteful. It's the second game on the bounce, in my opinion, you dominated. The scoreline 2 games running has flattered your opponents. And to go through that adversity of the referee trying to ruin this game, giving out a ridiculous red card, it's a massive 3 points for Arsenal. One they can take huge confidence from. And the scary and sobering factor when it comes to this Arsenal team is they haven't even clicked into gear yet. This team, in my opinion, has 3 or 4 more gear changes left in them. 3 or 4 easily. So as a rival watching this, yeah, there's a part of me, I could do the low-hanging fruit. It'd be like, oh, they look off the pace. They're not blowing teams away. It's a sign of weakness. Not in my opinion. The fact that Arsenal have won their opening 2 games, dominated the ball when 11 men have been on the pitch, are creating a lot of chances, but they're not quite at their best, would be something to be fearful of as a rival, as opposed to laughing. But maybe that's just the lens of which I view football through. So yeah, look, from my point of view, I sort of look at it and think to myself, Arsenal not at their best yet, but there's a lot for them to be proud of. In terms of players, look, Saliba made one mistake where he nearly gave the ball away. Ayew runs through on goal, but he makes up for it with a great tackle. Outside of that, it was a top-class defensive performance, especially once they were down to 10 men, and it went a bit old school with balls being knocked into the box. I think Partey's performance kind of covering in as a right back, very, very good again. Standout performer for me today, though, Declan Rice. Absolutely majestic in that middle. I thought his passing was good. He had 2 or 3 little bits of real intricate play. One that led to that chance for Eddie Nketiah. There was another 4 on the right-hand side, quite high up the pitch in the second half for Saka as he ran through on goal. The cross wasn't quite good enough. Really, really good from Declan Rice today. And I think that there's been a lot of talk, should he be starting just yet? And today was just a sign of what's to come from this man. There's a serious, serious player in there. And again, it's, I don't know, from my point of view, I sort of look at it as people are doubting whether or not he is going to make it. People have been criticizing him because he wasn't Zinedine Zidane in his first 2 games. Well, he's never going to be Zidane. That isn't what he's coming in for. But look how easy they controlled that game today because he was there. And by the way, Partey can do that as well. And that's the sobering factor with Arsenal, is that they have so much quality in abundance. Going to go to some of your super chats now before bringing the panel out. Anthony here says, Rice was him today. Looks like West Ham's Rice. Thoughts Nketiah was excellent despite the miss on the chip. Turned defenders and ran at them all game. Look, I thought Nketiah was good. He is a goal-scoring striker, though. So I don't look at he's not a playmaker, doesn't really bring other people into the game like a Jesus would or a prime Firmino would. He has to score those chances. That is what he'll be judged on more than anything else. It wasn't a stinky performance. It was a good performance, but Arsenal will need him to put in better, in my opinion. And you're right on Rice, Anthony, 110%. I was defending this match simply because of that, dreading this match simply because of the ref. Yeah, look, he tried to do Arsenal as far as I'm concerned. You look at it and you think, take a breather for a moment. I know in the heat of the moment, for me, looking on my TV screen, it looked like he pulled the shirt. But you've got a linesman who's the correct side. You've got a 4th official that's looking almost at it, and the referee. VAR can't get involved with the yellow card offense, but you've got 3 people looking at it from 3 different angles, and they can't see there's barely a shirt pull. It's horrendous. It genuinely was horrendous. I'm happy for the win, but not proud of the win. I hear what you're saying there, Robert. Kenny says PGMOL to make their 3rd apology to us in the year. Yeah, I doubt they will because you've won, and typically these things get brushed under the carpet. But yeah, the only thing I would say as well, I mean, there was calls for a Palace penalty, and what I thought was interesting is it would have been a soft one. But this is what I mean. But they were saying there's a higher threshold to overturn decisions. But that was every bit as much a penalty as the one that Brentford got against Tottenham on the opening day of the season. So that's a penalty. And this one, that's what it shouldn't even be about thresholds. It should be, well, what else have we given as penalties and what have we not given as penalties? And you keep it consistent. But outside of that, awful. Can't keep getting away with stinky performances. I hear you. I'm going to say this, though. Maybe it's because pre-season gas. Are we all very aware that we are 2 games into the campaign? We can't keep getting away with it. That would make sense 10 games in, but not 2. You're finding your feet still. I think you're going to be fine. This 11 is crap when Trossard, where's Gabriel? Look, there's rumors Gabriel, listen, I'm going to say what I'm reading, not what I think. Gabriel might be leaving. Just saying, it's out there. I think you should start Trossard as well, personally. Unsustainable win. Need to revert back to previous. Unsustainable win. Interesting. Absolutely shameless. What are refs doing, Terry? I'm not too sure. Starboy Saka. It's horrendous refereeing again. The ref killed the game. This yellow for throw-ins is a nonsense. What is too long for a throwing? 8 seconds. Not even the refs know. So I would say this. I think that first yellow card was correct. Not for Tomiyasu taking 8 seconds, but Gooners, let's be fair here. From those goal kicks prior, then that you man were time wasting.